Hey guys, I'm glad you're still here. It's a pleasure. So something a little different, but not. Real-time decisioning with mobile data. You just heard and have heard for the last couple days our usage of data and data science to understand customer segmentation, to understand behaviors, to understand our marketing. This is some of the same, but not. I recently left the world of the B2B side to go to B2C with a brand, a small fintech company in Santa Monica, Tala. We provide financial services to emerging countries, and our goal is to do it for the underbanked. How? First of all, there's 2 billion people in the world without financial identity. So that means that they're not participating in the economy. That means that for any of the brands here, you do not have access to those customers. They do not have access to you. And we'd like to change that. Now, we're changing that specifically with data from smartphones, from the Android. It's not just the feature phone. We are actually looking at smartphones because that's where we can get the big data to use. That's where we can use the data science. And we do it with an app. And we have an app for each country. We're currently in Kenya, Philippines, and Tanzania. And what we're focusing on is providing microloans. And we're providing microloans to people who don't have credit history, who might not have a job. 50% of the people that we provide loans to are self-employed. 10% are students. 66% is for business. 33% is for personal use, so schools, school fees, emergency money for medicine, whatnot. You download our APK, and you sign up, and you provide us data. So we have access, we ask for access, we get consent. We need your location. We need your SMS and contact information. We also have data from our mobile money provider. So in Kenya, that's M-Pesa, and in Philippines, it's coins. And this information, we basically run through, just like the ad tech does in real time. We're not doing it in 50 milliseconds, though. I'm doing it in 1 minute. So I'm using data and data science in order to make a credit decision. For only 1% of the population that we have now within Kenya, I already know what's happening with 68% of the rest. Why? Because of the integration of the data that we already have with Android mobile data alone, and also with intake survey information that comes through. So you see we ask, what are you using this for? How long have you been employed in your job? Other things. So think of the combination, location, text messages, phone calls, who are you connected to? And all of that allows us to understand whether or not we're going to give you a loan. It also allows us to understand whether or not you're a fraud. So we have fraud just as much as ad tech has fraud. And we're using the same techniques to try and figure it out. Maybe not as sophisticated yet, but we had a huge fraud ring in Kenya, and basically what was happening is that we had one person who had access to all different smartphones and was duplicating device data over and over. So it was the same. Guess what? We didn't have a unique device data rule in place, but right after that we sure did, right? We've all had gotten caught on something like that. So we allow for first loans. First loan's usually going to be $5, $10. If you repay your first loan, then you'll move up the loan ladder, usually. It depends. It depends on how quickly you paid off your loan, if you end up going to collections or whatnot. We have a 10-step ladder, start with 5, the largest is 100. And we have people who stay with us for years. They get to the top, and they continue to borrow. So over 1 million loans made. Currently at 7 million per month. We have a repayment rate of 92% and a repeat rate of 95%. And we're growing. And we're ending up in different countries. And I have to tell you that we're very stable in Kenya. We're actually at the point now where we have to figure out how do we find customers in a different way, which is an interesting place for me to be on this side, as I know that we're using a particular channel and I'm looking for other channels to find these customers. In Philippines, it's different. We're still starting. And why is that? because Philippines was so different, we didn't really think about the behaviors that were happening there. We didn't fine-tune the data and the data science to understand that Philippines is not as digital cash economy as Kenya is. And we weren't thinking about that we might need to adjust our models to do that. We have since done that, and we've created a global model that we can go into any country. So start off in any country and learn as we go over and be very specific. We also do user research. So not only do we have the quote-unquote big data or smart data from the Android phone, but we do user research not only through the first loan intake survey, but continual surveys to our users. And we also do in-country local research to understand what our customers need and how we can evolve. And I'll give you an idea of some of our customers. So this is Jennifer from Kenya. And she has been with us for a very long time. As you can see, when we first made our credit decision for her, we focused on her network. And we find that people that have a very diverse network, yet they contact them a lot, right? Not just the long tail, one call there, here or there. They're going to be more creditworthy than those who don't. If we have someone who has very little contacts on their phone, then very likely they're just trying to take a loan from us and run away. Now I know you all say, well, $5 isn't very much, but $5 from the same person 100 times is going to hit us on the bottom line. The two girls over on my right is Paris and Betsy. They're also from Kenya. They're students. They decided that they were going to become entrepreneurs by taking out their first loan with Tala, buying dresses, charging 3 times the amount, coming back, taking out more loans so they could quickly build up their capital. They now have their own store, and their goal is to become very famous women entrepreneurs in Kenya, which is fabulous. On my left is Jenna, and she's from the Philippines, and where you see her is actually where she lives. And she lives there with her grandchildren and her children. And she's a mobile vendor of candy. And her goal is to use the Tala loan to create her own Sari Sari store, which is a variety store, instead of taking out loans from, say, the payday lenders, where you have a very much higher exorbitant fees and interests. And so this is Tala, and we use this data and data science to provide credit decisioning. And this matters because we're providing financial identity and reporting back to the credit bureaus so that these customers can become part of the economy and become your customers. Thank you.